Hey everyone, my name is Chloe and welcome to the Beaches and Books Readathon. So I am sitting outside. It is 105 degrees and a storm is blowing in tonight, and so it is really windy. So I'm going to try to talk quickly and give you my first update before the wind comes and takes over. So I have started Not That I Can Tell by Jessica Strawser, and the whole premise behind this book is that a bunch of moms got together in one of their backyards, brought their baby monitors, and had a night where they all drank too much, and then the next day one of the moms is missing. So we are just, I just started it. I haven't read very much. And we're just getting into it, and every chapter is jumping to a different mom. And we get intercessions, I think, from the mom that is missing. And so I'm enjoying it. It's kind of jumpy. I kind of think I might pick it up physically just to get oriented with everybody. Because, yeah, and the last book I read was just okay. It was a mystery that was just okay. And the one I'm reading physically is just okay. So I'm feeling a little slumpy, and I don't want to get confused because that will make me dislike it. And so, yeah, that's where we're at. Just thought I'd update and say hello. Welcome to the vlog. This is what I'm reading first. I will update hopefully tomorrow with a good chunk of it done. Hey everyone, so it is 4th of July evening. It's almost 7 o'clock and we're about to go out and do some fireworks. Today has been a really fun day. We went and got some fireworks, and then the kids played in a water bounce house and swam and did all the outdoor 4th of July things. And so now we're going to go do fireworks. But before we do, I was going to tell you guys that I finished Not That I Could Tell. And if you are not one of my patrons, you didn't get to see, I predicted the order that I would like these books in a video over on Patreon. And this is the first one I'm reading, and I don't know. So I had really high hopes for this one, and I hate to say it really fell flat. So this is about a cul-de-sac neighborhood where all the moms got together one night, brought their baby monitors, had a little bonfire or whatever, and just drank a little too much. The next day is a little hazy. One of the moms is missing. We don't know if she left willingly and ran away, or if she something happened. So that's what the book is about. And we get little interspersed, not even chapters, but just little interspersed segments, kind of hinting, they're from the missing mother's perspective, kind of hinting at what her life was actually like. So there's that going on, and then we really just get the rest of the women trying to figure out what happened. And the whole time, there's really no tension, because she's missing. We're not really sure anything bad happened. She might have just been tired of it and ran away. And then the ending is really lackluster and not very exciting and predictable. And so I don't know. This has a pretty low rating on Goodreads. I think it's 3.5. But a lot of you guys have said you loved it. And so I had really high expectations because I love this kind of suburban drama, and I still was entertained. But I would say this is maybe 3.5 stars. Definitely not one of the best suburban dramas that I've read. So that is the first book. And that counts for a couple different things. I'll go over the prompts in the end if you guys care, but this definitely counts for the prompt of one that you've been meaning to get to forever, because this has been on a lot of TBRs since May, I think. Now I finally got to it, and I'm glad I did. I just wonder if my expectations and my personal hype kind of ruined this for me. So yeah, I don't know. I liked the idea that you never know what's going on behind closed doors, but there just wasn't the tension that Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris had with that concept. And so there just wasn't a lot of tension. It was really predictable. No really standout characters for me. So meh, overall, just okay. So I don't know what I'll pick up next, but I will update when I have something. Everyone, so I've started the next book for this, and it is Summer Rental by Mary Kate Andrews. For some reason, my camera is really foggy right now, so hopefully it doesn't look that bad on your side. But I'm not that far into it. It's about 3 women who all are meeting for a month at this summer house. And our main character is Ellis, and she's very type A. She's the one who planned everything, and things are not quite as they seemed. The cottage or the house is really run down, all the things. And the landlord actually lives right on the property, but he doesn't want them to know that he's the landlord, and so they only communicate through email. I'm guessing there's going to be a romance. This started with heavy language from him, and now I'm like a quarter of the way through, and there's not that much language, but he is like, from the beginning it was like, ew, not good. And so if somebody has a romance with him, I'm gonna be like kind of peeved out, because he, like, yuck, he was peeing off the building and cussing up a storm and just not an attractive character. So I don't know. They just took in a fourth roommate that they met. One of them met at a diner, and she's got her own secrets going on, because she's got a husband who is very wealthy but maybe an embezzler, and so she kind of needs to run, so she's now involved. So I think it's just going to be a women's fiction about the four of them with a touch of romance. It's cute. You kind of know what you're going to get with Mary Kay Andrews, and I really like reading her books on audio, because there's some like kind of redundant detail or conversation and things that, like, these are long books. This is 499 pages. And so I just like listening to it on audio, because you can like more passively ingest those things, which is not great. But you could also read this pretty easily with your eyes. I just really don't like mass market. So there's that. So really enjoying my experience, though. Like, I couldn't sleep in the middle of the night last night, and I was like, oh, I will hang out with these people for 10 minutes and see if it helps me like calm back down. So there we go. That is my update on that. Hey everyone, so we have had quite the morning. So my kids earned a surprise. So we went to a putt-putt for the first time. They have never done miniature golf before, and by golly was that entertaining for me, because they both have played softball before, and we live somewhat close to a golf course, and so they see like people at the driving range all the time, and so they're like full on swinging, and I'm like, no, this is not how we play putt-putt. And thankfully we went right, we were the first ones there, so it was like not a big deal, but it was so funny. And then we went to the batting cages, and that was a good old time, because we've got softball 11 girls, and so did some batting cages. And then my youngest has had bug bites galore. I have talked about it, I think, a few times, like in lives and things, that Midwest bugs are awful. I would love to move to Colorado or somewhere where there's less bugs, but they are horrible here. And I am the person that, like, I step outside, I get bug bites. And unfortunately, I think my youngest is the same way. And so she is covered in bug bites. And my husband's a little bit of a, like, hypochondriac. And so he was like, she's got to have something else going on, because her entire body is like covered in bumps, and she's just got them everywhere. And so he's been for like days telling me that we need to get her in. And so we were driving home, and we passed an urgent care, and I was like, let's just swing in there, see if anybody, like, see if it's crazy busy. If it's not, let's get her checked out, make sure she's not having like some sort of crazy allergic reaction to something, and make sure she's okay. So like 90 minutes and way too much money later, the doctor's like, no, she's good. She's good. Just got like bug bites that are really intense, like, because she still sometimes crawls. And so she like walks and crawls. And so if she's like crawling around in grass, of course, she's going to get a lot of bug bites, and they're the worst on her like arms and legs. So, makes sense, but it was a really long morning, but a really fun one, really fun one. So then we came home, and everybody zonked out. We ate lunch, and then everybody zonked out for naps. So I finished Summer Rental by Mary Kay Andrews, and I can't remember what I said about it, which I don't know, but this is about three women who come together to spend the month of August in a summer rental house in the Outer Banks of Virginia. And so they get there, and all of them have different things going on in life. This is definitely a women's fiction. So they all get there, have different things going on in life, but they have been friends forever and used to spend summers together. And so they're like 35 now and kind of redoing that. And, like, first of all, what kind of jobs do they have, and like situations that they can just take off for a month? I don't know, but I'm jealous. But the opening scene, they meet, one of them meets this guy, and he's just gross. Like, he is gross from the beginning. And like I said, I was hoping there was not a romance. There was a romance with him. everybody has a minor romance, but I would say this is by far more women's fiction. I can't remember when I updated. They have a fourth woman come stay with them who's kind of a mystery, and Mary Kate Andrews books are always that way. They are summary, well, not always summary, but mostly summary women's fictions with a touch of mystery. And so this woman comes and she's got a mysterious past, a mysterious situation going on. She's very cagey about who she is, what she's doing, all the things. And so we're trying to figure it out. And as we figure it out, you know, there's kind of a little bit of mystery involved in her story. So there's that going on, a little bit of tension, some like high stakes scenes. Overall, this was really cute. I mean, I really can't ship that romance, and so that automatically knocks it down. And I would say this is like a strong 3.5 stars. If you have read Mary Kate Andrews, almost all of her books are kind of a strong 3.5 stars for me. They're all very similar. She often has a theme of like renovating houses, which was true in this one. She's often got women's fiction with a touch of mystery, which she has in this one. And she often has summertime books, which she has in this one. So this one was similar to some of her others, and in a way that's like not redundant, but instead it's kind of comforting. And so I enjoyed this book. If you're a fan of her, definitely pick it up. If you're not, it's not a bad place to start. Just know that like that romance, they could have, like, I think the intention was to make it like enemies to lovers, kind of like bantery, and they could have done it with making him less disgusting. I will also say, like, the language and stuff that he used at the beginning was really overdone, and there's minor language throughout, but nothing like those first couple scenes. So if you start this book and you're like, holy moly, too much, keep going unless you're like have a no language policy. So then during nap, because everybody was asleep, I started Not a Sound by Heather Gudenkauf. So Heather Gudenkauf is an author I really like. And this book is about a woman who is a deaf nurse who has struggled with alcoholism. So a lot going on for her. And she stumbles upon the body of another nurse, a dead body of another nurse. And she is going through a divorce because of her, I think she's going through a divorce. Maybe she's already divorced, but because of kind of her alcoholism and stuff. And so she's trying to get her life back together. And then she stumbles upon this body, which kind of throws her into the situation that she really doesn't want to be in, but she needs to be in. And she's kind of scared. And she was a nurse for like sexual assault victims and things. And so she was always trying to figure out how to protect women. And so she's thinking somebody might be after the nurses who are trying to basically find out who done it for all these other women, and nurses who are trying to protect women. So yes, this is a thriller, but I would say it's light on the thrills so far. I'm about a quarter of the way through. It's very fast moving, very entertaining. We've got her relationship with her ex-husband, as well as her stepdaughter. We've got the relationship with her brother's best friend. He's a part of the cops, and so he's kind of involved, and he's cute and sweet. And overall, the death element is very, very interesting, just because there's a lot of hurdles and things that you don't necessarily think about as a hearing person. So I really am liking this one. So that is my update for now. I'm going to go inside. We just had like 26 books to pick up at the library, so we did that. Now everybody's playing in the garage. And I'm going to go make dinner and do all the things. So why are they playing in the garage? I don't know, but it's really, really hot. We had a random rainstorm like at 12:30 or 1 o'clock, and so it just made it like sticky. So yeah, gonna go inside, make sandwiches for dinner. We do sandwiches every Tuesday, which is awesome because it's low prep, not hot, all the things. So yeah, we'll check in when I have more to say on Not a Sound. Hey everyone, so we are back in the garage because the kids are rollerblading and it is hot as the dickens. But I wanted to get on and let you guys know that I have finished Not a Sound by Heather Gudenkauf. So I actually read this all yesterday because it is a very fast-paced read. So this is about a woman who is deaf and somewhat newly deaf. She is a nurse and she works with assault victims. I think I talked about this. And so she has kind of worried for a long time that people are after her because she's trying to find evidence to put people behind bars. And so that was kind of shown in a hit and run that left her deaf. So she is somewhat newly deaf. She has struggled with alcoholism, and so her husband and she are estranged, and that means her stepdaughter, she doesn't really see her stepdaughter, which is just devastating to her, and she stumbles upon a body of another nurse, and so then she's even more like, gosh, somebody is after us because of what we're doing. And so it's her trying to figure out kind of who done it. Is she safe? Is she in danger? Her estranged husband is an OB doctor, and she is trying to get a job in an oncology office, not as a nurse, because like her nursing license hasn't been revoked, I guess, but she just is kind of blackballed because of her alcoholism. And so she is trying to get this job with her husband's friend, who's an oncology doctor. And all the while kind of working with her buddy, who's in the police force, to try to figure out what's going on, what happened to this lady. The cast of characters is relatively small, so like the end, the whodunit, was not shocking, but it was satisfying, and like I like those books better where there's not a huge cast of characters, and so it's not like something crazy out of the blue. So it made sense, and it was like, I don't feel like this book is going to be one I'm going to remember forever, but I really enjoyed my time reading it. I like kind of medical setting thrillers, and like the only medical setting of this is that they're doctors and nurses and stuff, so whatever. I will say I would be interested in hearing a deaf person's perspective on this. I know Heather Gudenkauf herself struggles with a hearing impairment of some sort, and I feel like as a reader it was a little unclear, and sometimes it was like we were getting to figure out her deafness with her, and like what limitations she had because of it, and how she could communicate with others, the resources she used, all that kind of stuff. We were like figuring it out with her. And in other times it was like she had it all figured out and had all these resources and all that kind of stuff. And so, whoop, we got a crash on the rollerblade. So I'll wrap this up quickly, but so it was a little awkward, a little uncomfortable, like a little inconsistent. But otherwise, I think this was a pretty good book. So that's my thoughts on that. I will update next time I read a book. Hey everyone, so I started my next book for this. So I started The Extraordinary Deaths of Mrs. Kipp, and this is so good. You guys, I didn't think I was in the mood for this, honestly, because I just read since you've seen me last, I read a Christian fiction by Karen Kingsbury, and I really don't like to read back-to-back genres. However, Christian fiction is so broad. There's like Christian fiction contemporary, Christian fiction romance, Christian fiction thriller, so that's like saying middle grade. It's a broad thing. So this one, like, I want to be able to read these books relatively quickly so I can get this vlog out, and so I picked this one up next, and like I said, didn't think I was in the mood, and yet it has got me hooked. And so the book is about Mrs. Clara Kipp, and you guys, I want to be Clara Kipp when I grow up. She is a 79-year-old woman who is just being moved into like a residential care facility, and she's full of life. She is not ready to go. She's full of life. And so it's her story, as well as a girl named Aiden, who is a reporter, kind of a newbie reporter wanting to get like more stories, and she gets assigned this obituary of Mrs. Kipp, even though Mrs. Kipp is still alive. And so it's the two women's stories. They're I'm like, I don't know, not even a quarter of the way through it, and they're just about to meet. So their stories are aligning. But Clara Kipp, she is just the most like faith-filled woman, and so spunky, and so just full of life. And like, we are getting flashbacks to when she was a younger person, and she lost her husband and all of that. And the way, like, the true authenticity of her faith journey and kind of how she got where she is. And it's so good. I'm really enjoying this. And it's set in Kansas City, where I live. And she is in a care facility in Olathe, which is one of the many like suburbs of Kansas City. And it's just interesting. It's really interesting. I forget, like, when I hear that books like that are set in Kansas City, it always like, I'm always interested to read it, and I'm curious if the author is from, she lives with her family in the Kansas City area. She can often be spotted writing at a park or library. I should see if she has any events, because I imagine, we're in the same city, so that would be great. definitely going to look that up here because I have a doctor's appointment in a couple minutes. And so I am going to take this and also do some creeping on the author and see if she's got any events coming up in our neck of the woods. So all that to say, yeah, really liking it way more than I thought I would. I expected that I would really like this because I haven't heard really any bad things about it. I just didn't expect, I didn't think I was in the mood for it. And so I didn't expect to be hooked so quickly. So that is my update for now. I'll check in when I have either more to say or when I finish it. Hey everyone, so it's the next day and I have finished The Extraordinary Deaths of Mrs. Kipp, and this was so good. It's not a 5-star book for me, but probably a 4-star. So like I said yesterday, it's a story of two women who are coming together because Aiden is a reporter that needs to do a story, an obituary before she dies, of Clara Kipp. And Clara has kept journals through everything she did, and her life, she is just full of personality, and she really wants her life to be more extraordinary than it was. And so she is in hospice care because she has cancer basically all over her body. So she knows she's near the end. She's in a hospice care center here in Kansas City, and she really just wants to be in São Paulo, Brazil, I think. And so we learn about her life, and she tells Aiden that she, in order to ask 3 questions, she has to come up with one extraordinary death. So one of them is she was stopping a dog fight ring and the people were not good, or she was trying to be a crazy motorcyclist, and all these things, and extraordinary deaths. And as we get to know Mrs. Kipp, she is extraordinary in her faith, and she has lived her life as a refugee advocate, and she did so much for the refugees coming to America from Laos. And it was really interesting because I actually my master's was with a guy who was very passionate about Laos, and so it's just interesting. But anyway, so this was really good. It definitely gets emotional at the end. Personally, it didn't make me cry, but it was right on the verge, because it's just so beautiful. And these women only know each other for less than 2 weeks, and yet the impact that Clara Kipp has on Aiden is profound. And just the message of seeing beauty in everybody and being the hands and feet of God. And Clara never had children, and so she was talking about that, but how God made us as mothers, that we don't need to have physical children to have that mothering spirit towards people, and just to show compassion and kindness. And there's just so many good, inspiring things. I want to be Clara Kipp. I want to know a Clara Kipp. It was very good. And just realizing this also fits with the Bible study I'm doing right now about how the mundane, ordinary life can be extraordinary when you do it with a heart for Christ, and she definitely embodied that. So I really enjoyed this. There's definitely some parts that get a little slow, and it's definitely a little heavy, but I would say a solid 4 stars. Really enjoyed this. So that's that. And now I'm not sure what we're going to pick up next, but I will let you know. We are about to go on a family foam fun run. That's a lot to say. And so we're going to do that. It's really gloomy out, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but we're going to do that. And then they've got water slides and stuff, so we'll probably be there all morning, and then we'll come home. And my oldest is really in a reading mood today, so I'm going to soak it in and try to get my physical read done. But I think I might switch gears because I've done 2 Christian fiction in a row. I think I might switch to Run, Rose, Run. So because we only have this and With Love from London left, so maybe we'll do this. But this would be a really good physical read. I'm still torn because I know Dolly is a part of the audiobook, but also I love reading James Patterson physically. So what do we do? I don't know. I'll let you know. Everyone, so it's the next day, and good news and bad news. Good news is I finished this book, so that's great news. Bad news is I finished it because I was up with a vomiting child last night, and so I I don't know when I updated, but I think I told you guys we were about to go to the family fun run, and it was really fun. I did not expect my 6-year-old to be as fast as she is, and so running with her was really fun. Yeah, really fun. She was like full-fledged, sprinted a mile, and then they had foam, they had water slides, they had all the things. So we were there for a while, and yeah, it was a good time. And then came home, had a normal day. And then at like 11:30 at night, she stumbles into my room covered in vomit. And for all you parents, like I'm sure we've all been there. And I recently saw a meme that was like, is it bad that I always like pray for a ghost when I hear weird sounds in the night, because I don't want it to be my kids coming into my room in the middle of the night, because it's almost always not a great situation. But so then we had a long night of sickness. But that means I turned on my audiobook and just kind of listened through the events. And so I don't know what to rate this, because so this story is about a girl named Annie Lee Keys. And she is trying to make it in the music industry. So she goes from wherever she's from to Nashville, and she just starts offering to play in random bars, but getting like the time of day to play in random bars is hard. And so she's trying to do that, and she catches the eye of this guy who knows a very famous musician who is played by Dolly Parton. Her name is Ruthanna Ryder. And so I did listen to this on audio. I had debated back and forth because I love James Patterson's short chapters, but I had heard Dolly Parton narrates it. And it's kind of interesting that Dolly Parton wrote this and narrated it because the character of Ruthanna Ryder is very similar to Dolly. She's an older lady who wants to be retired, doesn't want all the fame and stuff anymore, like doesn't want to perform for sure and all that kind of stuff. So whatever. So she and Annie Lee become friends. And honestly, the first huge chunk, like at least half, is just Annie Lee trying to get by, you know, their relationship, their friendship forming, all that kind of stuff. And there's really nothing thrilling about it. And I honestly liked that part of it more than when the thriller aspect came in. So the thriller mystery aspect is that Annie Lee is not who she says she is. She has a past. There's people after her. You know, there's more to that than meets the eye. Okay, so that part of it honestly was a little weak for me. And I feel like this is maybe best categorized, well, I would say romantic suspense. I'm going to set it down because I have an itchy spot in my head. I'm having to go run to do a grocery pickup that I did before Vomit, like I planned before Vomit Palooza. So, anyway, so, gosh, I lost my train of thought. Can you tell? I didn't sleep much. So she, yeah, I just didn't like that part as well. Oh, I would say this almost feels like a romantic suspense, and I don't love that genre because I feel like either the romance is weak or the suspense is weak. I don't think this is a romantic suspense because while there is romance, it's more like women's fiction suspense. So, I mean, it's more just suspense. But I don't know. I feel like the suspense element was kind of weak. This would have been better as just like a dramatic women's fiction. Wow, I should probably be done soon. I just dropped my phone. But I would probably give this like 3.5 stars because it was entertaining. I just kind of was like, meh. I kind of lost interest in the whole suspense part. And so even though like that's kind of what the book is about, the rest was just like lead up to that. It just felt a little underdeveloped, which for James Patterson, the king of like suspenseful books, I was just a little disappointed. But overall, it was good. It was good. That's my thoughts, I guess. Yeah, I just would have wished this was more of a dramatic women's fiction, less emphasis or else more development on the suspense element. So there's that. I feel like I've been talking for a long time. So now I'm going to go inside, unload groceries. Everybody should be napping, so that's great. And we'll just hope for the best. I am really hoping that she just ate something because there are a few things she ate that nobody else did. And she's a nail biter. And at that family fun, you know, she was involved in a lot of stuff and biting her nails. So I'm really hoping that was the culprit. but I guess you may find out. But I have the last book for this, which is With Love from London by Sara. I really want to finish my physical read before I start it, and I have like 60 pages left. So it may be a day or two before I see you, but I will update you soon with my thoughts on that book. Hey everyone, so I'm here with my final update. So this morning has been kind of a mess because it unexpectedly rained, and like when we see rain coming in the forecast, I can like plan for it, have fun activities that are inside activities, all this kind of stuff. Today it was unexpected, and my morning just started off wrong. My kids got up really early after staying up really late, so everybody's grouchy, and then we were stuck inside all morning. But glorious news is the storm that came through made it like 15 degrees cooler out here, and the bugs are still alive and well, so we're not gonna be out here for terribly long, but it's much cooler, feels like breathable out here, and that's great. So I have finished With Love from London by Sara, and this is like close to a 5-star. It's probably 4.5, but this is about Valentina. Her mother left when she was 12 years old. So she was raised in Seattle or somewhere, I can't really remember, but and her mom left, went to London at 12 years old and never came back. Never heard from her, just jumped ship. And so now Valentina has gotten word that her mother has died and left her a bookstore in London. So she's going, speaking of bugs, I feel like itchy just all the time, but so she goes to London to see like what to do, because this bookstore is kind of struggling and she's got to do something with it, either sell it, fix it up, whatever. So she gets there, and her mother's best friend is running the store. There's like a whole quirky cast of characters. There's an apartment above the bookstore. There's actually 2 apartments above the bookstore, and so we get to know everybody involved with the bookstore and all of that. And very early in the book she decides to stay, and so we get to see her learning more about her mom and running this bookstore and trying to save this bookstore, and like some found family elements, a little bit of romance, because there's a guy that has known her mother like forever. He came into the bookstore as a kid and is now an adult, and he came in, he still comes in all the time. Then she also finds like her very favorite book, and somebody annotated it and left their name and stuff. So there's that guy too. So a little bit love triangle, but not bad. You also get alternating like perspective of her mother when like 30 years ago or whatever, when her mother was getting married, having her babies, why she left, when she left, all of that. And so kind of as Valentina is figuring that out, we are just a step ahead. And I loved this book. Like as at the beginning, I was like way more into Valentina's perspective and timeline than her mother Eloise's. But then as the book went on, I was equally like entranced with both, and I could totally identify with both characters, which I think is something that I really need to have like a 4.5, 5-star book. And so like I could definitely understand why Valentina felt the way she felt about her mother, about everything that was going on, and I could see why Eloise made the decisions that she did and did what she had to do. And this book will make you a little mad at sometimes, and it'll make you a little sad at sometimes, but overall it's really like I was never overwhelmed by those emotions. It was just really sweet and charming. I love the bookishness of it, and I would highly recommend. I think this is my first Sara. I've had her recommended to me multiple times, and I think this is my first one, so really happy to say that I really liked that. So that is everything for the Beaches and Books readathon. I said I would recap like what fits for what prompt, and I will do that in the description down below, because I don't know and I don't have my computer out here that has it listed. But it was a really fun time. I think, did I read any Christian fiction for this? I don't know. But regardless, it was a really fun way to guide my July TBR, and so I'm really grateful to the host for hosting it and doing it, and I had a great time doing it. So also, I did not video any of the like activity prompts, but I did read in the rain, and I did go to the library multiple times in this process. So that is everything. If you participated, let me know. If you've read any of the books that I talked about, let me know. And that's it. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one.